Hey, greetings. We're going to work on Schwinns now. We're going to work on this Schwinn tornado. I hope everybody can hear me. If you can't, just chime in and tell me I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, I think we got to be farther back. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. All right. Hang on a sec. You can hear me? Okay. Now let's see here. This is my first live stream, so bear with me. This is the 1960 Schwinn tornado I got from a friend. It was in pretty bad shape. If you haven't seen how bad of shape it is, you should go back and preview the other video 2 weeks ago. Anyway, we're going to kind of do a Will It Ride episode. People do Will It Run and, can we drive the car after I haul it out of a swamp and stuff like that? But no one's ever done a Will It Ride episode. So this is a first. You saw it here first on Faulkner Fixes All, the only channel that matters. Okay, so yeah. Well, I did cheat a little bit. I installed this lower race and the fork. And what else did I do? I installed a chain ring on. I switched out the cranks; they were bent, and I cleaned all the parts. So yeah, I cheated a little bit. Wasn't going to show you all the mundane, greasy, gross cleaning stuff. Yeah, we skipped some of that. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to put these cranks in right now, and that's what we're going to do. Here's the cranks I got. The other ones were bent, and these are off of these are dated 2/2/1975. So I stole these cranks out of a 75 collegiate girls bike that had a bent frame a long time ago. So I put this gear that was on here on these. The other cranks were bent really bad. But before you put them in, we're gonna tap out the holes a little bit. So if there's any chips, they'll go in the box and not in someone's feet or paws. Anyway, on the left-hand side, this is the left-hand side. This is left-hand thread, and so is the adjuster on here, if you don't know. So it's good to have a left-hand tap, and I have one. And we're going to kind of clean it out, make sure that these cranks are good. This is my left-hand tap, and we're going to put it in the left-hand side, and we're going to turn it counterclockwise. And these cranks are pretty good. They were in a bike already. If there's any chips and grease, it'll fall in this little box on the ground. We don't want that stuff to end up in doggy's paws or, when you're walking around at 2 a.m. and stuff. Get a pedal thread chip in your foot. It's not funny. Okay, so we're going counterclockwise. We're pretending to take it off, but it's really going in because it's left-hand thread. Okay, that thread looks pretty good. Yeah, I think a pedal will go right in there. This is just something to do that, you should probably check them out before you put the gear on. Yeah, make sure you can get a pedal in there. Anyway, okay, so now we're going to put this left-hand tap. We'll put it over here on the table. And this is the right-hand tap. And this goes on the chain wheel side of the cranks. Is always right-hand thread. And this one's still a little rusty. I'm glad I checked it. Okay, here we go. And we're going clockwise now because this is a right-hand thread. This is the normal thread that let's put this box under here. We don't want any chips. This is the normal way a pedal, most people would think the pedals go in. I'm glad I did it. It's a little, there's a little crunchy stuff coming out of there. And that would have affected the pedal going in. Yeah, this is good. Okay. Okay, nice clean thread on there. And we'll be able to get pedals in this no problem. Now, before I had, taps cost money. And this right-hand tap is very cheap because it's a right-hand tap. But this left-hand tap costed some dough, like 15 bucks back in the day. Nice to have. But I'll show you what I used to do before I had the tap. Yeah, before I had the tap, you take an old broken pedal and let's see. Yeah, there we go. And you take a zip disc. This is actually for a larger size pedal for like a French bike or an English bike, but you could make one. You could make one out of a broken American pedal too. See, the size is a little bit different. See the size difference. This is actually the European and the French and the 9/16 style. And this is the 1/2 inch, smaller for American bikes. But anyway, you could take that on a pedal like that, and you could zip disc these little notches in it. Where am I? Oh, there I am. Yeah, you take the zip disc, and you zip disc some little notches in it. And then you use that. Pretend this is the right size. It's not the right size. It's for bigger cranks. But anyway, you put that in there, and you crunch it out. With grease and patience, you could use this broken pedal with the zip disc notches as a tap. It's not recommended, but if you don't have the tap and you can't afford one, you can make one of these out of a broken pedal. And I don't have this actually. I don't have this 9/16 tap. This is my tap for the bigger pedals. But if I was really getting into those 10-speed bikes, I'd probably buy a tap. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, you can do it without it. Okay, so let's put this in. Yeah, we got to keep rolling here, man. All right, let's get some grease. I'll be back in just 1 second. I gotta go find some gloves for some grease. Yeah, I'll be back. Look, I see I'm all set up, man. I'm all set up. Okay. All right, so I stole them from the art room. It's okay. And we're going to put some grease in here and put these cranks in. Yeah. Hey. Hey, Basil. Hey. Hey, Saba. What is it? Oh, I'm sorry. No, tell Fred I'm live on YouTube right now. Yep. Yeah, I meant to call my son. I'm really sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, I just called the wrong number. But it's okay. Okay, so we're going to put some grease in here. Where's the grease? Hey, I'm on YouTube right now. Yeah, I gotta go. Bye. Okay. I had to tell my son I was on YouTube, you know. He's probably one of my only fans besides my wife. Okay, so we're gonna wipe this out. Okay, yeah, you guys can see. Good. Okay, I mean, it's not spotless. And we're gonna put some grease in there. Okay, that's that side. You don't need tons. You know, you don't need to fill the whole. I've seen people they pack this whole cavity full of grease. You don't need that much. Just enough for the bearings. I mean, you could pack it full. I've taken bikes apart that this whole cavity was packed full, and some even went up into the tubes. I've taken those bikes apart, and I always wondered, what, what were they doing? How much grease did they think they needed in there? Okay, so we cleaned these parts. We cleaned these parts earlier. Like I say, I did cheat a little. I did clean some parts before all this. So, and I did change these cranks. So we're going to put a little dab of grease on this one race here. And we're going to put this nice clean bearing. It goes balls. The balls kind of go towards the race. You want to put it the wrong way would be, putting it down so the retainer's down. It wouldn't even go in and it would crunch. So make sure these ball bearings are faced out towards the race. Okay, so now we're going to put it in. And you go in like this. And that bearing went in. We'll slide this bearing on the other side. I don't think you guys can see that yet, but now don't worry about getting grease in here yet. Usually on the left-hand crank, when you slide it through, some grease goes in here for the pedal. So don't worry about that yet. So it's left-hand thread. I'm threading this left backwards. Oh, let's turn it so you guys can see. How about that? Okay, I don't think that'll fall over. Let's see here. Yeah, I think you guys can get the idea here. Yeah, okay. There we go. All right. Oh, someone's actually commenting. I can't believe it. Okay. So this is left-hand thread, this part. So we're going to pretend to loosen it. So we'll go counterclockwise. Okay. Nice and greasy. That's the way it goes. You can see why it's nice to have these gloves. This is probably the greasiest part. I already got the forks in already, so that's good. I did cheat a little, like I said. I had to replace this lower fork race. It was really rusty. And so when I greased everything, I cleaned it. So I cheated a little because, hours of cleaning parts on YouTube, maybe not what people want to see. Okay, so we'll wipe that grease off. Okay, so we're going to put this all right, so when I took this bike apart, there's a washer in between this securing bolt, which is also left-hand thread. And the washer on Schwinn's, it has this little tiny peg. Well, when people get a hold of it and don't know what they're doing and don't use heat or penetrating oil, or they just start cranking on the bolt the wrong way. They think it's right-hand thread and it's not. They break off this little nub. And this one is a Schwinn part, but it's no good, unfortunately. But what I did was I found another part which was not Schwinn, and I filed it because I don't have this part. I have this part. It's a little thicker, but the nub, the little notch there, is still good. Yeah, there you go. And no one turned that backwards the wrong way with a big giant pipe wrench. And this one, the little notch is gone. So that's a problem. But anyway, you know, I can get another one of these, but we're going to ride it today, and we need this little spacer on there. It helps it all be happy, and it helps the nut do what it has to do, left-hand thread. Anyway, so I filed this. It does go on, and there's a notch right here. Let's see if you can see that. I don't know if I can get you close enough. There's a notch right here. And that little notch on the washer goes in. So we're going to do that. And hopefully I filed it enough. We'll see. I did file it enough. Okay, this part's no good. And we're going to take a little grease. I know we had enough grease on there already, but just to make sure, we're going to put a little grease on the inside of these threads of this nut. Just to make sure what's going on. We don't want any problems. And, you know, the person that has to take this back apart might be me. So, you know, I have to make sure, you know, in the future, when I'm 107 and I go rebuild this, I'll be able to get that off. Okay. So here we go. Okay, let's get you in here. Yeah, that's good. All right. Now that my hands are all greasy, we got to tighten this and we have to adjust it. So I'll show you how to do that. Let me get a paper towel. I'll be right back. Okay. Wipe some of this excess off. And all right. Let's see here. Not quite set up for these inside videos yet. I'm still learning. I was going to do this out on the deck, but it's about 92 degrees today. A problem in its own because I can't get grease on anything. I have to be very careful. But I'm graced enough to have this inside stand and be able to work on it with some AC in here. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be doing this today. It's just too hot outside and too humid. Okay. Let's clean this extra grease off. And we will adjust this. Rule of thumb is a little bit of wobble is better than too tight. So right now, if I tighten this up, which is counterclockwise, we're going to pretend to loosen it. That will be too tight. That's not good. So loosen it up, and we'll take this screwdriver and we'll back this race off a little bit. Let's see, you guys can't really see that, can you? Yeah, there you go, kind of. Yeah, we'll back that race off a little bit. You still can't see that. It's about as good as we're going to get, isn't it? There's a little notch in the race, and you back it off counterclockwise without chipping the frame with the wrench. And then tighten it up. And that's got a little wobble in it. That's too tight. Yeah, it should spin longer than that. So we'll loosen it up. And we will put the screwdriver in there and back the race off a little bit. We'll try that. And that little washer in there has grease on it, and it's not spinning because it's held in that little notch. That's not bad. A little wobble. Yep. You know, these are not new bearings. These bearings are from 1960. So yeah, they're a little noisy. I'll go for that. That's not bad. Okay, so those are in. Maybe we could get it a little. You know what? I think I'm going to back it off a little bit. Just seemed a little bit tight. Okay, we'll try that. Don't be afraid to take your time and, you know, really check it out. Like, I thought it was okay, and then I decided it wasn't okay. Now, that's nice. If we tighten this up and there's a little bit of slop, I'm going to go for that. That's a little slop. Okay, I'm going for that. Yeah, as you can see, that chain wheel's a little warped. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is, I think we're just going to go ahead and put the rear fender on and put the new tire on the back wheel and go from there. Good to get the drivetrain going first, you know, so you know what's going on. And to put the back wheel on, you got to put the rear fender on. So let's put you around here. There we go. That's better. Let's see if we've got any comments here. Oh boy. Cheater. I'm not a cheater. I did some work beforehand. Okay, people are calling me a cheater. Do you believe that? Oh man, I can't believe it. Okay, let's see about that. Okay, so we're kind of done with the greasy stuff now. So I'm going to take these off because they're just not that comfortable anyway. All right, let's put a rear fender on. Now, if you saw in the video, in the preview for this, these were pretty bad, and I did what I could. I hit them with some 1200 grit, and then I put some compound on it, then some polishing, all hand done. And, you know, there were some big gnarly dents here and stuff. And they came out pretty good. They were better than before. If you see the video, the preview of this, these were pretty bad. I think I did all right. Okay, so I was smart and I left this bolt in up here. Yeah, trying to get it all together here. Yeah, you guys can kind of see, can you? Okay, let's get these off of the way too. So I left this fender bolt up here. And you can always tell a Schwinn bike that isn't a 5 or a 3-speed because this brace up here will only have a hole in it for the fender, not this way for the brake. So when you see that, you know it was a 1-speed or a 2-speed kickback bike. It was not a 5-speed or a 3-speed. And I don't think Typhoons ever came. I don't think you could get a Typhoon in a 3-speed or a 5-speed. I could be wrong, but Typhoon was the bottom end of the barrel. So I don't think you could get a Typhoon. You might have been able to get it with a 2-speed kickback hub. I'd have to check the books on that. But I think you pretty much had to deal with a coaster brake hub. Okay, we're just going to put this in loosely now to hold it. Okay, there's one. Okay, that's just kind of sitting in there now. Okay, now these, yeah, we're getting it. We'll figure it out. See, we're putting the back fender on, and then we can put the chain on and then the chain guard, then the back wheel. Ooh, Wow, what happened there? Okay. All right. I'm looking for, oh, okay. So on these, I like to put these outer fender stays. I like to put the middle ones in and the outer ones covering it. That's just how I like it. I don't know if Schwinn does it that way, but you can see the wear marks kind of there already. That's just the way I like to do it. You might want to switch them around the other way. It's really, I don't know which way the factory does it. I've seen them all different ways. My way is probably correct. I'm going to get about 90 million comments on that. Okay. I checked the Schwinn factory book. You're doing it wrong. Okay, so I'm going to put these on. We're going to leave them loose for now until we get the until we get this bottom one. There's one more down here, and I got to find it. It's in here somewhere. I think that's it. Yeah, I think this is it here. Okay. Yep. I don't see the washer for it. Bear with me. I'm working on it. Okay, I don't see the washer, but I have a washer here that I'm going to use. This isn't a perfect bike. We're not using Schwinn wheels, so it's not the end of the world if you're missing one Schwinn washer. I'm sure there's going to be some comments about that. Okay, so here we go. There's that. Oh, I see. Doesn't really need that giant washer. That's good. Okay, we're going to leave it loose for now until we tighten these other ones. Well, we're going to snug it out. Actually, we're going to tighten this top one first. Yeah. And we need the actual wrench. That's neat. That's a 3/8. I think it's 3/8. Let's see what it is. It is 3/8. Yes. Okay, getting it. Yeah, it's really hard to get to this one without knocking the camera over. Okay, that one's pretty good. This one's a little easier. I'm just kind of holding one edge of it with my finger, which isn't working. Okay, so we got those two done. We got this top one tight, and we got this one. That's tight. These are just snug for now, but we're going to tighten those up. And kind of sight down here. And sometimes when you put the back wheel in, you'll notice that the wheel is a little off, and it's because the fender, either the frame is bent, which this frame is good, or you've got the fender kind of cocked a little. So it's good to know that you can always loosen these and wiggle the fender one side or the other if you have to. I think we're good though. This bike is it's not in great shape, but the frame and fork and the attachments and all that stuff are in good shape. So I think, it's not a 10 out of 10 bike, but the frame and fork are in good shape. But I think we're pretty good on that. We're just going to give these a snug right now. On bikes with derailleurs and gears, on this side of the bike, the bolt for the fender is a little shorter, or should be a little shorter. If it's not, it'll rub into the derailleur. So that's one good thing to remember. On this bike, we don't have to worry about that because we're putting a cable-operated 2-speed hub on, which doesn't have handbrakes. Okay, so fender's on. It's looking good. Cranks are in. They're looking good. So now I think we're going to have a little lesson about tires and tubes. Just so you guys know what's going on. This thing should be on wheels. That'll be good. All right, so let's see here. This is an S7 painted rim. Maybe I can turn the lights on in here too. Might help. This is a Schwinn S7 tubular painted S7 rim from the 60s. Other tires that aren't Schwinn don't fit this. This bike came with these, and they're in really bad shape, so we're not going to use them. I do have another rear wheel for this bike that's really in nice shape. My friend said he could soak it in acid, and that's great, but how am I going to get these pinstripes back on here? I can't do that. I mean, that would be really ridiculous to try to paint those back on. The rim is in rough shape. Anyway, this is the Schwinn tubular S7 tire from the 60s. The date code on it is probably 67 or 68. Look at the little nub still on there. Anyway, this fits S7. You can get it on an S7 rim. Okay, that fits S7. You guys need to know this. This is important. Don't ruin your tires. Okay, so S7 only fits S7 rims. It says 26 by 1 3/4, but if it says S7 on it, it's actually bigger. And here's the problem. Okay, let's take this off real quick. So we know that's an S7. This is an S7 rim. Okay. This is a 26 by 175 non-Schwinn. Okay. And this is a hook bead rim that is from the 60s, 50s or 60s, in decent shape, actually. I mean, it's a little rusty, but it's in decent shape. It's called a hook bead because these little lips here hook over. It's not a tubular rim like the Schwinn is actually two pieces of steel welded together. This one's not. It's a little cheaper. Anyway, this is a 26 by 175. It fits the hook bead rim. That's how it was made to go. It'll fit that all day. Okay, so that's a non-Schwinn rim with a 26 by 175 tire. That works. What doesn't work is either of these combinations. Trying to get this large Schwinn S7 tire on the smaller non-Schwinn rim. What are you doing there? Yeah, come on now. You're not doing nothing. Okay, or trying to get a non-Schwinn tire on a Schwinn S7, which is the most common mistake people make. They keep trying with tire irons and levers. There's no way you're getting that on that rim. If you get that on that rim, you're going to be really sorry. It's not going to go. This wire bead just won't go over this S7 rim. There's no way it's going to happen. And if you do manage to get one bead on, you'll never get the other bead on without ruining the tube or breaking the bead, the wire inside the tire. So that's the skinny on that. Okay, so now you guys know. And S7 tires are expensive to get now. And the rims are that people want a lot of money for them. So we're going to put some non-Schwinn rims on this because we can. Okay, so I got this rim strip. I made this from an old inner tube. And the rim strip on the back wheel is good. The rim strip on this is missing. So we're going to put this on real quick. Oh, and if you make these, when you glue them together, you glue the two ends together of the tube and you make it a little smaller than the rim so it stays on. And when you punch this hole, if you have a gasket punch, if you don't, you can cut it with a pair of scissors and make a round hole. But when you do make this hole for the tube stem to go through, make sure it's right in the middle of the two pieces that you glued together. Makes it stronger, and if it does break, the tube kind of holds it in there. But it ain't gonna break, because this is probably better than any tube liner you could buy. Believe it or not, the stuff you make is much better than the cheap stuff that they try to sell you. And you know what? Rim strips are like $6 a piece now. I don't understand what is wrong with these people. Anyway, they want a lot of money for a piece of rubber. So save those old tubes. If you've got 4 or 5 patches on your tube, save it and cut it down the middle, and you can make 2 rim strips out of it usually. Make it a little smaller so it stays on the rim. And there you go. There's a nice fat rim strip that covers all those things and probably much better than anything you could buy. I've had rim strips where you put them on and they broke. They were so cheap because they punched the hole right here and there was so little rubber that when you put it on, it just broke that hole. So there you go. Make your own stuff if you can. All right, so we're gonna put this brand new Kenda, cheapest tire in the world, and we're gonna put this on the back rim. I always feel inside anyway, even if it's a brand new tire. You never know. Never know what's in there, you know, and you've got to check it out. Now, this is a used tube, but I know it's good. I have some new tubes over there. I'm going to use one, but I know this tube is good. And maybe I should use some new tubes. Maybe I'll use new tubes. I'm going to get my helper to open this box of tubes. You guys watch. This is going to be great. Where's Scout? Here's Scout. Okay, Scout. Let's see if my buddy can open this box of tubes for me. Get him. No, get the tubes. Get it. Come on, there's something in there. I need that. Come on, work, buddy. Get those open. I think he needs a little help. Okay, he needs a little help. There's, oh, he got it. Okay. What's in here? Come here. Good boy. Okay, well, it wasn't exactly exciting as I thought it was going to be. I think I'll give the other dog a treat too. Here, Lovey. Come here. Okay. These are my helpers. Sit. Good boys. Woohoo! You guys helping today? Yeah, you missed out. There was a treat in here in this box. Scott was trying to get it out. Here, get that box. Okay, that was exciting. All right, so what were we doing? Right, we're going to put these new tubes. I actually bought new tubes. Now, when you buy these new tubes, let's see here. Okay, treats are over. When you buy a new tube now, they give you, like, it's a big deal. If you buy tubes, they give you this little plastic tire wrench with the tube. It's in there. It even says on the box. Okay, the treats are done, guys. Come on, the treats are done. Anyway, they say 2 free tire levers. Anyway, don't use these. Take these, and if there's a recycling mark on them, recycle them, or throw them away, or don't use these. These are bad. Okay, if they're giving them away with a tube that costs $6, don't use this. You'll get hurt. Use something like that. Okay, this is an actual tire lever. Okay, use something like this. Go and buy these. They're only a few bucks. Don't use that plastic one. You're gonna be sorry. Anyway, all right, so we'll inflate this to get the shape. And my buddies, they're kind of done. They're looking for more treats, but you can't have treats all the time. Ooh, you guys didn't like that. Okay, so inflate the tube just to get the shape. And also, when you buy tubes nowadays, you got to kind of check them out beforehand. Like I said, stuff is so badly produced nowadays. You never know. You could get a new tube out of the box. It's not even glued together or something. It does happen. So it's good to get the shape of the tube, but kind of check it out too. And did you know you can hear a tube leaking? You can actually feel it on your cheek more than you can hear it if there's a pinhole. This one's good. Now this says 1.9 to 2.3, but it looks like a 1.75 tube to me. I don't know what they're talking about. See, they're saying that it fits 1.9. I don't know what they're talking about because this tube says 1.75 on it, and it's a few years old. I know it's good, but we're going to go with new tubes. But there's no difference here. 1.9, 1.75 here. I'll put a little air in this and see what you guys think. Yeah, this is a 175. And this new one I got says 1.9. Actually, the 175 looks a little bigger. Cheap. Really watch what you're buying nowadays, okay? Keep an eye on it because it might not be what you think it is. It might not be the quality you think it is. Okay, so we checked this new Kenda out. It's a 175. We're going to put this 1.9 in. It's going to be fine. And now that we've got it in, we'll let a little bit of air out. We got the shape. We're going to let a little air out. Okay. And this is our cable operated Bendix 2-speed hub. This is a good wheel. It's a little rusty. Spokes are a bit rusty. Rim liner is intact and old as the hills. I'm not going to mess with that. It's there. It's rubber. It's been there a million years. I'm going to leave that alone. And we're going to put this on. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Try to get the valve stem pretty straight to begin with. Try to get that straight up and down. You're only going to put one bead on at a time. And since it's a new tire, it might be a little, it might not want to just pop on by hand. Well, we'll let a little air out too. If you can, put it on by hand. It's much better to do it that way. So we got the valve stem pretty straight. We got one bead on. And we're going to pop this other bead on. Start near the valve stem and work our way down. Just go slow. You don't have to do anything yet. You don't have to get the tire irons yet. All right. All right, so it's getting tight up here. We're gonna make sure all the air is out of it. I said we're gonna make sure all the air is out of it. Air's out. We're gonna pop it on. If you can, just use your thumbs. Now, if you couldn't get it on, it's going right on. You take one of these, put it in there, make sure the tube isn't pinched, and pop it on. Those plastic ones I was telling you about, they're so big and bulky, and they're just so cheap that you'd never get it under there. Okay, so this one's ready to inflate. And we don't have our compressor in the house, but we do have a pump. Yeah, next time I'll bring the compressor in the living room for you guys. We'll see how that works out. Okay, pump it up so it's, got some air in it, but not really hard. And then you're gonna check the bead, look around on the edge. It's still pretty soft, so we can bounce it in a minute. We're gonna bounce it, but we're just checking the bead along here and make sure that the wire bead is connected all the way around. And it looks good. The wire bead's on there. It's doing what it should do. Okay, so now we're going to bounce it a little bit. My dog is probably going to freak out. We're just kind of seating the bead a little bit. Not slamming it, just bouncing it. Okay, and we're going to give it a little spin and check it. And if it looks good, not bad. It's an ancient rim. Probably needs an overhaul. Now we're going to pump it up to specs. I don't know. This is probably 40 pounds or something. I could check, but for what we're doing, I'm just going to pump it up so it's hard. I'm not going to check the pressure right now. Okay, there. The pump says there's 35. And the pump says 40. So what does it say here? It says inflate to It says inflate to 45 psi. I think we're going to leave it at 40 right now. Okay, let's put this baby on, and then we'll put the chain on. I did cheat a little bit on that. I did the chain so it would work, so I wouldn't have to be messing around with that all day. Okay, so let's put this on. Okay, how far are we in here? We're 51 minutes in, and I'm not even close. Dude, I gotta work faster. Less talk and more work. Okay. All right, we're doing good. Less talk, more work. I think there's a 16 millimeter wrench I'm supposed to be using, but right now we're just snugging this in here. I'm going to put the brake bar holder on because it's very important. And you got to remember to do that. It'd be nice if I could actually find the holder. Here it is. This is the one that came on the bike. It's pretty rusty. We're going to use it. Yep. Although the Bendix 2-speed did not come with the bike. So we'll see how that works out. I mean, it might be the clamp doesn't work because of the big Bendix arm. It looks like it's going to work, though. It looks like it's fine. Yep. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're not going to super tighten this up yet because we're going to adjust the wheel and put the chain on, and we want this to be able to move. We don't want to torque this down really tight, but make sure you put these on because if you forget and you hit the brake bar spins around backwards and tightens up the cones of the races until the hub won't move, and then you'll just be carrying your bike home. So always make sure you put these on. And I always put them on, even though I'm going to adjust the chain and everything, I put it on so I don't forget it. Even though it's loose right now, when we adjust the chain, it'll be right. Okay, I did cheat a little. This is an old chain I had laying around. And if you're short on dough and you can't afford new chains and your chain is all rusty, sometimes you can go to the scrapyard. You're not taking it. It's funny. You're not taking the chain off of a bike. You're taking the chain off of a Sears garage door opener from the 60s and 70s. A lot of people have to retrofit and put new garage door openers. And when they do, they take the garage door opener to the dump. And most of those Sears garage door openers had the right chain for coaster brake bikes. Not for bikes with speeds, but the bigger, thicker coaster brake chain. Those garage door openers always had them on them, and they only get stretched a little bit because all they do is lift a garage door open. They don't wear like a typical bike chain. And there's so much of it on there. When you get one, you snip it off and you just buy that piece of chain from the scrapyard for $1. And it's about 4.5 bikes, and this is a piece of one. So if you're in the scrapyard and you see a Sears garage door opener, snip the chain off and buy it because it's always in decent shape. Unless it's been sitting outside for a million years, you'll see it's rusty. But usually they're in great shape, and it's the same chain, and there's very little wear on it because it just goes back and forth. It doesn't go around a sprocket. I'm sure somebody will comment about that and tell me I'm all wrong. That it stays. the tensile strength has been ruined because it was on a garage door opener. And yeah, anyway, use your garage door chains at your own risk. How about that? Okay, so we got to get a master link because we're way ahead of ourselves here, and I've been talking too much. Stay. Okay. Oh yeah, it's not even close. Anyway, when you put this, and we're gonna have to do it like this because I don't have the wheel close enough. We'll fix it though. Okay, so when you put this master link on, there's an inner and an outer. Here, I'll show you guys close up so you can see. That's the master link. This is the little piece that goes on it. Some of them snap together, but this one has this little motorcycle style pivot. And when you put this on, make sure that the edge that's connected like the U goes towards the front of the direction of the chain. If you don't, it could pop off if a rock hits it, or let's say you go over a little hill and a twig or, a dead mouse hits against this and you have this the wrong way in the direction. The U is not towards the front of the direction of the chain. A rock could hit that and knock it off. And people on motorcycles have actually died. I don't know about people on bikes, but people on motorcycles have died because they put this clip on the wrong way. So always put the U part of the clip, the part that's solid, towards the direction of the chain. I'll show you more when it's on here. Okay, so we don't have this adjusted yet. So this chain I know will not fit, but you know what? There's a trick. You can just undo it from put it behind the sprocket and just connect it anyway. Because then you can at least connect the chain and adjust the back wheel later. Like, yeah, it's not on, but the master link's going to be on. Go. So the chain would go this way. So I'm going to put going to the direction of the chain. That way, if it ever hits anything, it'll just glance off. It won't knock this clip off, and you'll live to pedal another day. I've never heard of any people on bikes dying from this, but I've heard some stories about motorcycles. Okay, so we're going to, oops, I'm doing it the wrong way already. The direction of the chain is that way. All right. And there we go. It's snapped on. It's ready to go. All right. But this back wheel is not adjusted for this chain to go all the way yet. You see, it's going to be stopping right there. Oh, yeah. What am I doing? Oh, what am I doing? Well, we're going to adjust the back wheel in a little bit. It's going to pop right in. On really old bikes, they had threaded adjusters here from the 40s and back, pre-war for sure. And some even after the war, they had this threaded adjuster here on each side of the frame. And you could loosen the wheel and thread it in and out perfectly. But they got rid of that. I think after the World War II, they got rid of that. It was just too good. Now, aren't you glad we didn't tighten this other clamp up? Because we wouldn't be able to move the wheel. But now, I'm going to kick the wheel down a little bit. I'm just trying. Okay, so now that went on. Now it's super loose, but we're going to kick the wheel back now. I'm not kicking it back. I'm just pushing it back against the chain, which is kind of tight now. And don't worry, we're going to mess with that in a minute. Okay, that's right in the middle. This frame's in good shape. I mean, despite the oxidized paint and some of the rust bubbles up near the top tube, the frame is actually very straight, and the fork is too. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that hub needs a rebuild for sure. We'll get to it. Another live feed. We'll get into this hub. It's going to be fun. Okay, that's not bad. I think we're going to just go with that. I don't know where. I'm supposed to have a 16 millimeter for this, and I don't know where it's at. So we're just using a really good crescent wrench at this point. Okay. Okay, we're gonna make sure that's pretty golden. Okay, so now we're gonna tighten this brake clamp because you always want to make sure you tighten that. And it's kicked out a little. You gotta really make sure you always tighten these, folks. I did it once. A friend of mine did it a few times. He's ruined several bikes. We won't name names on that, but he forgot to tighten it, and he hit the brakes, and this spun around the other way, locking the back hub. He dragged the bike home. He ruined the tire and tube, and he ruined the bearings. All because you didn't tighten that clamp. So remember, make sure you tighten that. It's not funny. And make sure the bolt is in good shape. It's not funny either. It's kind of a crappy bolt. Having some issues here. Like I said, this clamp was not for a Bendix 2-speed. It was for a regular coaster brake bike, so it's a little wonky. The clamp itself has to conform to a new attitude. And that's good. Okay, so we got it on there. The chain is okay. Oh, sounds like crap. Okay, so we're going to adjust this back in a second when we get the shifter on. But let's continue on and get the front wheel. Oh, front fender. Now on this front fender, there's a 1/4 screw in here. And we're going to put a tap in there. It feels kind of, something ain't right in Denmark in there. Okay, 1/4, usually what Schwinn, and I can see this is a 1/4 threaded bolt. This is a 1/4 bottom tap. Yeah, let me see if I got the right one. No. Yeah. Today we're going to use the bottom tap when we should use a tapered tap because that's how we roll. I don't feel like going out to the garage and digging around for an hour. It's working fine. Yeah. Okay. So we're using that. And you can't get a T-handle in here. Hence the tiny wrench. So I'm going back and forth. You could get a T-handle if you had this long extension, but I don't really feel like doing all that. And this is working fine. Can you see that? Oh yeah, we're doing good. So we're making this thread nice. So we can just thread the bolt in without a huge issue. Let's see, wow, 1 hour and 5 minutes and I don't have this bike running yet. Stuff takes time, guys. It's not, stuff takes time. Okay, so that's pretty good. I don't see any. I'm going to catch whatever comes out. We don't want dogs eating this. Okay, a little stuff came out. And a little bit of goo. And a little bit. Okay. Just to make sure, we're going to thread this in by hand and make sure that it's all happy and it'll go in its new home or its old home where it came out of. Oh yeah, see, that's much better. It didn't want to go in. I didn't want to get the fender in and have to deal with the fender in and all that stuff. Okay, so now we're gonna put a little grease on this. You know why? Because it's probably gonna be me when I'm about 109 years old taking this back apart to re-grease it. So I'm looking out for me when I'm 109. Yeah, gotta remember that, folks. Okay, so we got that. We got a little grease on there. And we go. Oh, actually, there's a notch on these bigger Schwinns. There's a notch right there. Yeah, I could run bigger tires on this, no problem. But it came with S7s, which were 175 tall, and it doesn't have a built-in kickstand. So I'm hoping that with the smaller tires that it's going to be okay. We'll see. We'll see if the kickstand still keeps it up. But you go into the notches, boom, goes up there. And you put the screw in. It helps if you have a screwdriver in your hand instead of over on the table. Or you have fingers of steel. Okay, so let's go get a screwdriver. Some people use Loctite on this, but I'm the guy who has to take it back apart. Or I'm looking out for the person who maybe I'll sell this bike and I'll have to take it apart to put it in a box and ship it. So Loctite wouldn't be good. Okay, get that pretty tight. Okay, so this is ready. We didn't adjust this yet, but we're getting to it. So now we're going to put the together. I got this nice homemade rim liner, better than anything you can buy in the store. This is a pretty good rim. I repacked it and went through it, and it's a new departure hub from the 40s. And on new departure hubs from the 40s, sometimes they don't have this locking bolt for the cone. And they just expect you to be able to tighten it against the forks and everything's happy. But if I can find the locking bolts, I always put them on there. They only add a fraction of an inch more, and it goes into the fork, no problem. And it's just the security that those cones are going to stay where they're supposed to be. Rallies are like that too. They don't have any locking cones, locking nuts on the cones on the front wheels on the vintage rallies. And I always thought that was pretty lame. And some Schwinns have a little square piece. Let's get into it here. Some Schwinn, I don't have one with me, but some of the Stingrays from the late 70s, early 70s, and some of the Schwinn's kids bikes, I haven't seen it on any really tall bikes, but they have this little square piece that goes on one of these forks, and that locks the cone in, and then they don't have a cone locking bolt on the other side. I never like that either. Whenever I see that and I have the parts, I put them on there. I mean, why would you want your front wheel loosening up? And, Okay, new tire. We're checking it just to make sure there's no stuff in there. Never know. This thing's been in a container ship for 20 years going across from Japan or somewhere. We don't know what's in there. Always check. Okay, so we got that. Open up this tube without puncturing it. Hour and 9 minutes. We're getting close. Oh yeah, there's the tire ring. You always just throw these away or recycle them. They're dangerous. They're useless. Get a metal one. It's like $2 at a bike shop. Okay, so we're gonna pump this up to get the shape. Hey, remind me to bring my compressor in the house. Okay, we got the shape. We checked this out. Looks like there's no crud in there, no dead mice, no sharp objects, no foreign objects. You know, even though it's a new tire, you got to check. You never know what's in there. Might be, you know, somebody's toothpick or something loading the boat. Anyway, let's not get too excited. Okay, so we got our homemade rim liner. It's a really good one. Ready to go. And this is a 26 by 175 tire with a 1.9 tube, which they're lying about because it's actually a little shyer than, it's actually smaller than a normal 175, but they say it's a 1.9. Yeah, things that make you go, Okay, so it fits fine. Flip it over. Yeah, let's see what's going on here. Okay, we got the valve stem up pretty good. Okay, so now it's getting harder, and the reason it's getting harder is because we didn't let the air out. So you put the air in to get the shape. Then when you get the first bead on, you let a little air out. Not all of it, but just a little. And that will help you continue on with the bead, the second bead. See, I'm not using any tools. I don't want to puncture the tube. If I have to use tools, I will use these instead of the plastic ones. There's a little notch on there. There's a little notch to bend it over and get it to notch on the spoke while you do it, to hold it. You know, only if you have a racing bike or something with a really tight tire. Okay, so now it's close, but we still have a little air in, so we're going to let more air out. Okay, and we should be able to just pop it on by hand. Of course, I've been doing this a long time. It's not a big deal. Okay, so we got that on. The valve stem is where it should be. Sometimes when the valve stem on skinnier tires, like 10 speeds and stuff with a skinny tire, if you have this too far pulled this way and you pump it up, the bead of the tire kind of rides up. So keep an eye on that. You know, when you pump it up, make sure you push this in just a little bit so the tube fills up in here and clinches the bead without popping the bead over the rim. But that usually happens on skinnier tires. On these fatter ones, it usually just goes, finds its happy home. Okay. So same as before, we're going to check the bead, roll it around, look at it. Make sure there's nothing popping off. Make sure this is in a little bit. So this seat's right here. You don't want that popping out. It looks pretty good. I see a little spot here. I'll adjust it a little. I can see this is a little shy here. I'm going to crunch it up. Okay, so there's about 5 pounds in this now. I'm just going to bounce it a little bit without our dog freaking out. And that just helps it seat. And I'm going to spin it and look at it. Not bad. It's a really old rim, and it's a really cheap reproduction tire. I can see right here. There's a spot. It's right here. I'm going to try to pop it out a little bit. Sometimes these cheap tires, you really have to mess with them to make them seat. This one's pretty good though. Okay, there's 40 pounds. Not bad. Give it a spin. That's not bad. That's an ancient rim with a really cheap reproduction tire. That's not bad. I'll ride that all day. All right, let's put this on. We're an hour and 15 in, and I'm tired, and the bike's not running yet. Guys, come on. Okay. Okay, and on these 60s bikes, especially the Typhoon, they did not have wheel locks here. It's just a straight fork. There was a special wheel lock that goes on a lot of Schwinn bikes. This is the bottom of the line cruiser. It doesn't have it. Sorry, don't pop wheelies. Don't do stupid stuff. I go off jumps. They did give you an extra washer, though. They were thinking about you for the fender stay. There's two washers. There's a flat washer that goes on the fork, and there's a littler, smaller washer that goes on the fender stay. Let's see if we can get that in there. So at least they gave you two washers. And that's your big consolation prize when you're doing a wheelie. They gave you a fat washer for the fork, and between the fork and holding the wheel on, and then they gave you the skinny washer to hold the fender brace on. So the fat washer goes on here, then the fender brace, then the skinny fender brace washer, which some people forget, and then the bolt. Okay. Good. So we're going to center this up. It's a little cattywampus right now. I think this is actually a 15 millimeter. I think we're going to go get the right wrench in a minute. Yeah, we're going to get the right wrench because that's not happening. Oh, look at that. The right wrench. I can't believe it. Even though Schwinn is American, there's a lot of metric parts. There's 9 millimeter bolts on the brakes on some bikes. A lot of the coaster brakes have 16 millimeter in the back. I know they have some millimeter tools, especially on old bikes. You just never know what's going on. Okay. We'll put the final go off a jump tighten on that in a minute. But that's not bad. Okay, if you saw the original video, it had a bunch of horns and delta lights and stuff like that. And I'm probably just going to sell those. I'm not putting them on right now because we're going to go do a jump in a minute. And I don't want some priceless horn falling off and hitting me in the cranium. Okay, so we don't have those. Hey, we'll make it right. We'll put this valve cap on. It's a brand new tube. Okay, so what do we got here now? We got a bike that's almost together. We're getting there. All right, let's put the handlebars on, and then we can put the 2-speed cable-operated lever on, which is going to be difficult because it's never been on this bike before. And we're going to check it out. And I'm getting really thirsty. Give me a second. I'm going to go a glass of water. Okay. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so we're going to put the stem in. We're going to put the stem in, and then we're going to hold it with the stem and adjust this crown, this fork race, so it's right. It feels pretty good now, but we're going to make it right. Okay, I kind of cheated on this too. Really rusty. If you looked at the other video, this was pretty bad. And I cleaned it all up and greased this. I always put some grease in that one. And there's a tiny bit of grease in there. And you should put some grease in here too. Because, when you're 109 years old, it's time to repack this. Or when you're selling the bike and you have to take it apart and put it in a box, you'll be all happy, like, oh, I was thinking ahead. Oh, put the grease in here. Oh, then I can, oh, I was able to take the bike apart. 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, moving right along. All right, let's put this in. And obviously you want the stem to face that way, not that way. And obviously when you put the stem in, you want the front forks facing this way and not that way. Otherwise you would be really hitting your foot when you turn and stuff. So make sure the forks are splayed out towards the front of the bike and make sure the stem is facing the front too. Okay, don't ask me why I know. Don't even go there. Okay, so we're just going to put this in roughly for now. We're going to get the final adjustment when it's sitting on the ground and I'm sitting on it, and then we can see what's going on. We're just going to give it a quick once over tighten, and we're going to put the bars in. These are Schwinn Suburban bars dated 1968. Yeah, I should probably save these for another bike, but these are Schwinn. They're stamped right here, 1968, 268 or something. These are Schwinn bars. They're off of actually they're off of a 3-speed, so it must have been a 3-speed collegiate or 3-speed breeze or something like that. Oh no, yeah, might have been a breeze or a collegiate or a speed. No, a speedster wasn't. 3-speed breeze or collegiate, probably. Maybe a smaller one. Anyway, you can always tell they're off of a 3-speed bike because when the 3-speed clicker's on there, it doesn't rust. 3-speed clicker was where the shifter is. It never rusts under chrome. So when people take this off and put it on another bike, you always know that this was a 3-speed handlebar. So at one time, because there's the telltale, it didn't rust under there. And you know, it didn't rust. It didn't rust where the grip was, obviously. You know, but right next to the grip is the 3-speed shifter, and it always doesn't rust under the clamp. So if somebody says, "Oh no, this bike was a coaster brake bike," and you know those are the wrong bars, then like, how do you know? Because there's the 3-speed clamp mark on there. Anyway, yeah, let's just keep going here. All right, so this might not go in this older stem. I know it'll fit, but we're going to take this bolt out and be ready to pry on it to make it go. It might just go right in, it might not. And it went right in. Look at that. Okay, so these are the wrong bars. We know that. These are off of a 68 breeze or collegiate or something with 3 speeds. We know these are wrong, but we don't have a choice. The other bars were so bad, they're probably going to go to the scrapyard. Unless my buddy Fred gives me a pair of bars that are correct. If you're out there, Fred, you know you got them. You know you got those bars sitting there with my name on them. Okay, we're just going to pop that in loosely for now. We're not going to do the final adjustment. But what we are adjusting, we're going to make sure this cone is right. Yeah, okay. What are we doing here? Okay, that's good. All right, so we're going to make sure this is good. It feels pretty good. But now that we've got the stem in, we've got something to hold to tighten this top bolt. And it's the same deal. There's a little washer in there with a little nub on it that fits on the cut part of the threads. There's a little slot in the threads. And make sure that's greased up and make sure that's good. You don't want that turning against your fork threads. So we're just going to tighten that, and then we're going to feel. Yeah, it feels pretty good. It could be a little looser, actually. So we're going to back it off. This is right-hand thread. So undo it counterclockwise. Undo this just a little. And we're going to tighten that up. feels golden. There's nothing wrong with that. From experience, I know that's good. It's always good if you use a Ford script wrench on your Schwinn. Okay. All right, so we got that. Okay, so we're going to put the 2-speed clicker on now. Let's see here. I guess I could get you in here. Okay. This is the got all the clamps with it and everything. Maybe I won't have to use zip ties. Look at that. Okay, this is the cable. And this is for Bendix 2-speed hubs. It's a pretty rare hub and pretty rare shifter. It's hard to find nowadays. Most of the 2-speeds you find nowadays are kickback. So you pedal the bike, and then you kick back, and it goes into the next gear. And you kick back like you're going to brake. You don't have to brake. You just kick it back a little bit, and then you're in first. Well, that was all great and dandy, but you go to a stop sign and you stop, you're in the next higher gear or you're in the next lower gear. You don't know what you're doing. So this was actually a better setup. Back in the day, this was better, in my opinion. And hopefully it'll fit on. And you know what? We'll just put this right where the 3-speed shifter used to be. We know that's right. It goes right on there. Now let's make sure the grip fits though. See, I'm kind of making sure the grip is going to fit without touching the edge of that. So actually, this actually has to go in a little more. So actually, yeah, it actually misses the 3-speed mark. Oh, well, you can't have everything. Okay, so we know that's going to fit pretty good. I think we're going to just tighten that up for now. Yeah, if I can find my screwdriver. Oh, we got some comments there. Oh boy. People are watching. They want to know what I'm doing. Well, this is what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing for 50 years. Okay. All right, so put that back in. So apparently this, I can't remember on the other bike. This was on a Columbia that I sold to a gentleman who was a bike collector, a good friend of mine. And hopefully, it looks like it's going to be close. Probably should put it in between here, maybe. Let's see. Hope this works. Man, it's going to be close. Yeah, I better put those bars all the way down. Yeah, bear with me. Yeah. Bear with me. Yeah, we got to lower the bars a little bit. I need all the slack I can get out of this. Apparently the Schwinn frame, maybe it's a slightly larger frame. Maybe someone trimmed this housing a little bit. Not sure. And we're going to use a bronze hammer on this bolt to unpinch it. Don't use a regular ball peen, you'll be sorry. So we'll go back down. Apparently, I need all the slack I can get, or I'm doing something wrong. Probably both. It's happened before. And then my bike stand's falling over now. Okay. So we'll get the final tighten on that part later. So now we have a little more slack. Not much. Down and through and, well, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. This is being silly. trying to unloosen this pinch bolt for the shifter part. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to leave that loose for a minute so it can slide a little bit. And we're going to put this on. And we're going to leave some adjustment. See, we can adjust the cable that much. We're going to leave this part out a little bit so we can adjust that, maybe even a little more. Okay. There is a little bit of adjustment here. Okay, so I was pretty smart and I saved all these clamps, which is pretty good because I know for sure that this one's hard to find and this one goes back. I believe it goes right here. So let's put that one on first. That's a hard one to find, and let's just make sure that's right. Otherwise, I'm digging around in the shop until I'm 109 years old. Okay. And careful not to scratch the immaculate show finish paint. Okay, see, it's on there where it should go, probably. Oh, wait, that's wrong. The problem with that is, how am I going to tighten that? Yeah, I think I should go up this way, maybe. Well, we can fix it if it's wrong. Okay, we're going to leave that now. Okay, and then this one, it's going to be tight. Wow, it's a tight one. Oh, maybe we shouldn't have it running through the frame like that. Yeah, because I have this clamp. Yeah, I think I messed up. Shoot. Yeah, I think I messed up, folks. Wouldn't be the first time. Yeah, originally I put this cable through the frame. And I'm thinking better of it now. Yeah, I'm thinking that is wrong. Because there's a clamp that goes there, and it might even give us more room too. So we'll take it. Okay. Now we're going to go back up here. And I had this through this 2 bars, and I didn't like that because actually with the clamp on there, it's actually going to give us a little more room, and we need every bit of room we can get. It's really close. Every bit. Good. Okay, we're not going to go hog wild on tightening right now. We're just going to see what's going on there. Maybe we can. Yeah. That's not great. I wish it was a little longer, actually. a little tight. Yeah, it's a little tight. Yeah. All right. Not bad. I think it'll work. Okay, we're going to tighten this back one here and go from there. And these were in here too in my little bag of 2-speed parts. I guess I could put one on there. Yeah, I don't think I really need it. Well, let's see if it actually does anything before we get too excited. Okay, we're gonna move this lever up here. Oh, look at that. We got action. Hey, I think we got it. Yeah, it's a little tight here on the cable. Not bad. I think we're gonna run it. All right, so let's pedal it and see if it actually does anything. It does any shifting. Okay, so we should be in high right now. That's high. I forget. Yeah, it's weird. When you pull it in, it's in high gear. When you let it out, it's in low gear. That's high. That's low. Yep. It takes a minute to click in. Yeah. Well, it's a little loose. That's low. That's high. Low. Oh, that's too tight. There we go. What's going on there? Oh, there's low. High. Low. Okay. It works. It's not happy. There might be some more adjustment on this. And we're going to have to tighten that up a little. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, there's low. That should be high. Yeah, it's not very happy. Oh, okay. It's not the best sounding hub in the world. I'll tell you that much. Okay, but we are going to ride it. Okay, let's put the chain guard on. Let's put a cap on. Look at that, we actually have a chrome cap. Okay, let's see here. There's a chain guard. There it is. Okay. And this came around pretty good. We scrubbed on it a little bit. Not great. Oh. Oh, that's what was rubbing. Huh. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to zip tie that down a little bit. I know, zip ties on a bike. I know all about it. Okay. Oh, okay. It was kind of rubbing there. All right. We got our tornado chain guard. Okay, we're going to put some grips on it and a seat, and we're going to go test it. Okay, looking for the left pedal. And I think this is the left pedal here. There's already grease on these threads. They're good to go. These are Schwinn 10-speed pedals. That's what I have. Left pedal goes in left. See, left-hand thread on this one. Okay, some grips. A grip. Got one grip. Okay, glue grips, that's what I got. Okay. Okay, we're gonna put the seat in. grease in here. You know why? Someday you're gonna have to get this out. Okay. Okay, we're gonna cinch this up. And we're gonna go take a ride. And put that emblem on. And these emblems are kind of hard to get on. There you have it. One 1960 Schwinn Tornado with two-speed kickback, two-speed cable operated. Okay, we're gonna go give it a shot. The hub does not sound great, but that will be for another video. Okay, folks, look at all those comments. Okay, we're gonna take this for a ride, and the hub kind of sounds lousy, but I'm gonna take it for a ride. I'm gonna do a little jump too. You're gonna love it. My bars are a little off. Oh well, it's like time crunch here. Oh, I forgot the kickstand. Oh well, folks, no kickstand today. Who needs a kickstand when we're doing jumps? Okay, I'm gonna loop around, and I'm gonna hit that jump right there. Oh, it's real good. Okay, folks. That concludes our live feed for today with Jump. Faulkner Fixes All. Where can you find this content? A Will It Ride episode. First on YouTube. Okay. See you guys later. Okay.